Tell it as it is, with your hosts, Leon George and Leary McRae.
Real talk, real issues.
Welcome back to Tell It Like It Is. Again, my co-host is John Kelman in Barbados, Larry McRae in St. Lucia, and my name is Leon George, and I want to thank you for tuning in tonight. So, soon you'll be able to participate on the program. You can call us by Skype, you can text us. We already start to receive emails on this topic, which we're going to read out in a while. Some of the emails have with people with the different views already start to send in and text us and so on. If you're in New York, the number you can call is 1-718-879 extension 303. In Canada, you can call us at 1-416-800-279 extension 947. In people in the United Kingdom, you can call us at 442-03-31-82-61-4-3 extension 337. And for those of you throughout the Caribbean, you can call us on Skype. You can, if you don't have to have us in your Skype contact, you can add us. The Skype is CCV Radio Caribbean Culture Vibe. You can add us to your Skype and you can call in on Skype. You can also do a Facebook chat, or you can make contacts with us on Facebook, MSN, and so on. You can even text chat us on Skype. Like I said, we're going to be reading some emails in a while that the emails already started coming, people with the different views. So as soon as we give the okay for you to participate in the program, you can call in and give your views with this topic. Now, just before we go for the break, we were discussing the constitution of a country and one's legal right to say what should be accepted in one society or not. Yes, while I agree with that, whilst countries have something called the Supreme Constitution or something that spells out the laws by which this country is governed, by which a country is governed, and as an independent and sovereign state, no one should have the right to tell you how to govern your country, how to make your laws, and so on. It's only you and the society in which you live in could really get in on that and say, well, what you want, what is morally right, legally right, and socially acceptable in your society, not any external influence or that should really make that demand on you or make that request on you. Now, having said that, while that is so, there is something called United Nations, and we see many times there are so many conventions coming out of United Nations, which a number of our Caribbean countries are signatories to. And so much time that tells you when you're in violations of these conventions, these charters that you are signatory to. And one of the most common one, most popular one, is human rights. Human rights violation. You hear that for every single country. Once any individual has an opinion or a conscience vote or a conscience, something that they feel that they think that will suit them as an individual, and they can't practice that opinion that they have, that if it's a religion that they will want to be in, the type of house they might want to build, and all these sort of things. Because some of the time these issues clash with what you call the laws, the very laws of your country. If your very religious laws sometimes come into conflict with the legalities or the legal status and laws of your country, and sometimes these things are issues that could never go away. You have to end up in legal action over and over, and sometimes one may even die trying to get a legal opinion whether one's religious right could really take supreme over the laws of the state laws. And this topic that we are discussing here tonight is not immune from this. It is not excluded. It's very much in sync with what we're discussing here tonight. One right to have a partner of their choice. And for the state to say, because your partner of your choice is someone of the same sex with you, this country which you live in, we will not accept that. We can't accept that. So therefore, you will not be enjoying the rights of this state, or any legal rights of this state. You will not have a legal claim in our courts because we don't accept the choice you make. Anytime we do that, we will be in direct contravention of a human rights violation here. And this is where I want to take this discussion tonight. And this is why I said, what are the implications for the Caribbean society accepting this lifestyle into mainstream society? It is, whether we like it or not, it is going to be a human right issue. So Dan, this is what we have to deal with. Mr. Kilman, you want to come in here?
Well, yeah, I mean, I've spoken on that already. I mean, it may be human right there, but you remember I said to you that if our Constitution does not even make any mention of that, because it never popped up its ugly head. And I have nothing against two consenting adults, whether they be male or female and female, doing their own thing. But what I'm saying is for them to be coming out and demanding that they be allowed to be made, well, not man and wife, but married partners. My question is, what would be the purpose of a same-sex marriage? Just to say, well, I'm not violating your rights. What would be the purpose behind doing it? You can't reproduce. Are we looking now at the beginning of the end of this species, human? Yeah. That's what we're looking at.
Well, everybody wouldn't go that way. And you talk about what is the purpose of a same-sex marriage. Again, that is for the individuals to decide. They choose, they make a choice. And every choice we make in life has some kind of consequences to it. And they will have to know whether they can deal with the consequences of that decision that they make or not. That the fact that they can't reproduce a child, there are no procreation or reproductive situation because of the same sex, they will have to look at adoption and so on, and which again will bring all kind of legal implications, legal, moral, and ethical standards which now are going to come into play. That in itself is something we'll have to play out in our society. And how we deal with it as a people will determine how we go forward. You understand? But I still, and will always say, individuals have the choice to make. Even the very creator that all of us we worship will never stop any one of us from making our own choice, even if it is a wrong choice. I know there are situations, there are consequences for that. And why the society that we live in should stop someone from making a choice that they feel comfortable with. Why should we? Why should we? I think we should not be imposing our view on anyone. Any society should not impose the views of anyone, whether I agree with it or I don't agree with it or not. Once the choice that they make affect themselves alone, the individuals alone, it does not have an effect on wider society. No, I know. I could hear the listeners saying, what? That will have, because when people see that, what kind of reflection that will bring? How does same-sex adopt a child? How that child is going to grow up in that house, knowing that he has well, you don't know if it's two mothers or two fathers, or two people of the same sex acting as mother and father, and all these kinds of things. When that child go to school, there are all these kinds of issues are going to come up. And I know...
George?
Yes, go
George?
ahead. Yes,
Can
I'm
I
listening to you, sir. Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
We can carry this even further. Imagine my son of 18, he comes to me, says, Dad, this recession that the world is going through is affecting me severely. I don't have a job, and I am 18 years of age. I know that you don't have to support me anymore. I am finding it extremely difficult. I think I'm going to shoot myself. Why should I stop him if this is the way we are going?
Why
should I stop him?
Right.
Would I not be infringing on his democratic right to kill himself?
Yes, you will. That is my belief. You will.
I would be.
Yes.
I would be.
Yes.
So, in other words, then, let him go, son. If you think that's the way to go, go ahead.
Well,
what are you really saying?
Well, you just raised an interesting point there. Are you, as a father and as an individual and as a human being, you will be devastated to hear that from your son?
Yeah.
You'll be devastated. I don't think any parents will want to hear that.
Sure. I would also be devastated if my son, he's living at me, and he has a spouse who is another boy like himself, and I happen to go and see the two of them in the bathroom making love to each other. I would also be devastated.
I'll come into that. I'm coming to that. It still doesn't matter how you feel, how it affects you, it still remains the individual rights. As a matter of fact, as you bring that point up, I want to have news for you. Do you know there is a suicide counseling group in Holland? There is a suicide counseling group, and I don't want to get in. That is a topic that we can leave for another time. However, you talk about you will feel devastated if you see a son in the bathtub with another boy or another male or whatever. Let me tell you how I will deal with that. I am not gay. I will not be entertaining any relationship with somebody of the same sex, and that is me.
Absolutely not.
Okay? Right. If I have a friend who is gay, he would have to understand that I am not gay, and so therefore he will have to conduct himself a certain way around me, and we will be good friends. That's it. You is gay, I am not gay. Try and understand that. My son come to me and tell me he's gay. Right? He's not attracted to the opposite sex. I don't know how I will react to that. Because sometimes it's easy to say some things when you're not confronted with the situation.
True.
Right? From off the head, I could say, I don't want that in my house. You cannot bring your partner in my house. No time.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
If you are attracted to the same sex and so, please do not practice that anywhere close to me, around me, or not. And you can't stay. And it's my choice to tell him he could stay in my house, or he have to go, or not. Or it's also my choice. It's also my choice to say, well, son, you are my son. No matter what, I accept you. If it's that how you feel, please, there is nothing to be ashamed about. You can bring home your partner at any time, because if you were attracted to the opposite sex, this is how I would have let you behave. And so you're not attracted to the opposite sex. I accept that. So you go for it. I could also say that. I am not saying that I will say that, but I know there are some parents who will say that.
Yeah, fair enough. What I would want to do is I would want to ask him first of all. Do you feel comfortable with it? Would you like that to change from that? Would you wish that it wasn't so? And I would take him down those lines. I admit that you're saying that that's the way you feel now. Would you like to feel differently? If there were a possibility that you could feel differently, would you appreciate my efforts in helping you to feel different? I mean, get some sort of help for you that you could feel different. Would you appreciate that? I mean, let me take him right there. And if he said, no, this is how we want to be, well, I would have to let him know, well, how old are you? I wouldn't entertain that at me.
Right, good.
I have nothing against you doing it. You go ahead, right to do it. But you wouldn't be able to stay under my roof doing that. You're still my son. You're still my son. But you couldn't expect to bring that behavior in here. I mean, it's hard. We could go down the biblical line, telling you should honor your father and your mother and whatnot. You would really be dishonoring me because you're bringing a stranger in at me. And then perhaps you say, well, if it had been a girl, would you send her out? Well, no, I wouldn't. But this here meets me at right angles. It meets me at right angles, and I'm your dad. You're not mine. You see, when you were my child, for me to support and rear you, I did. But you are now on your own. And I have no obligations to housing you, let alone you and a partner that meets me at right angles. As simple as that. Because I mean, and we wouldn't have to quarrel. I would not disendow him. He would still be my son. I wouldn't disinherit him. He would still be my son, but you wouldn't be sojourning in my camp. As simple as that.
And this is your right. And it's your right. It's your right to accept it or not accept it. Just as it's his right to
stay with it or not.
To stay with it or not. Right? Now we talk about the 10, we talk about the 10 Commandments a while ago.
Yeah.
And you will talk about what you wouldn't see in the 10 Commandments or so. You see, there's something called the moral law, and so on. But the moral law is not something we should set for somebody who set according to society standard or according to where we see it. The very 10 Commandments that we talk about couldn't set any moral law for any man. There was a high ethical standards in which you could have gone by. But the moral law in this term is something comes from the conscience, your conviction, in the way you see things and the way you want to display and conduct yourself into society, what you think is acceptable or not. In fact, what you think might be highly ethical and moral for you might be quite the opposite for someone who comes from a different society. You know,
when you consider the 10 Commandments, that Decalogue, I mean, what's in there? I really don't see anything in there that is Herculean. I don't. Everything there seems quite, what one can do. I don't think it imposes on you. The first four talks about your devotion and your thing to God. I don't see anything wrong with what they're asking. The fifth talks about your devotion to your parents sent to you by God. And the last 5 talks about your relationship to your fellow man.
Right. And you see, I know. I didn't say anything wrong with it. I said individuals have the right to accept it or not. I don't see anything wrong with it. There are many things in life. There are many things in life that is not wrong, but we still have a choice to accept it. You know, even the upbringing of our parents, we could just practice it when we live under their roof. But when we go out on our own, we could say, look,
True.
things are different today. I can't accept this way my parents taught me. The world is so different now. That was for that time.
Yeah.
I really have to turn away from that. That could never get me by in this world today. I can't accept that. We could do that. We don't. Again, I see, because I want to look at choice here. It's choice. I'm trying to get it point over to choice. People have choices in life, and I have a problem. I have a serious problem when society wants to interfere with somebody's choice of life.
You know, George, if we begin to think of what we call human rights, could you imagine going to the courts, the law courts, standing before the magistrate or judge, and he speaks to you, and you put your hand in your pockets? Well, obviously the fella in the court, they would say, come on, put up session. Or you decide to sit down while he talk, put your hand on the chair back, and he said, stand up. Say, I'm tired, man. You ain't sitting down. You know he can order to be executed. He can't order need a flogging for you. So what he's got to do but take it?
No, he don't have to take it.
That is, but no, not take it. But then let's say in the prison.
Really, well, that's it. That's the point I'm coming to. You see, I talk about consequences of choices earlier on. You see, if you go to court and you want to disregard the rules of the court, he could do it. He's free to do it.
Of course.
But there, however, he must know there are some kinds of consequences. There are consequences that come with disobeying the rules and the rules and standards in which you're supposed to upheld. Any decision you make in life, you should not be making a decision in life without understanding the backlash of it. There's a consequences for action. If someone sometimes people say, I had no choice. Somebody put a gun to your head and say, hand over your money. You say, well, I had no choice. I had to hand over the money. That is not true.
No, you had a choice. You had a choice. You could have done it. But George, here's what I'm trying to say. See, and I asked you that question for a particular reason, because as a social worker, I have had to deal with people who were before the court, you know, who spent some time in prison. Yeah. And they have spoken, you know, you talk with them. You know what one told me already? He says, all he can do is send me prison. He can't order hard labor. He can't order need a flogging for me because I asked him that. All he got to do is send me prison and I will be fed. I will be fed. And if I don't like the food, I call the Attorney General. An inmate from prison told me that, and I looked him straight in the face. You know what I said? You are so right. Because, you see what I'm talking about? Tie that in with this gay whatnot and thing. The time can come when nothing is wrong. Because we have rights. And like you just said, George, I have the right even to allow a man to shoot me because I don't want to do what he asked me to do. Correct. It is as serious as that.
It's as serious as that, but I didn't make it so. I am saying that's the fact of the matter. That's the reality of the situation. I didn't make it so.
That is the reality of life.
The reality
so what
of
I'm
life.
saying is
correct.
People can decide I am not doing this. The magistrate says, stand up. He said, who are you talking to? You're sitting down, not me. What can he do other than send you to prison? And you go up there and as the fellow said to me, you will be fed. And if I don't like the food, I call the Attorney General. And I must be heard.
Right.
Well, I don't know why it's like in St. Lucia and in Trinidad, but I know here in Barbados, we have police transport that take these inmates from the prison to the court to answer cases.
So here in Trinidad, same here.
Good. Now that coach that takes them is equipped with a siren. One of those fellas told me once, he said, you know how proud we feel to sit back in there and lap our legs. And if the Governor General is in front of us, as long as the fella touches that thing, everybody pull one side and allow us to pass. No, that's how we saw it. No, for me, and I had to be in that as a passenger, and there, I would probably think of committing suicide, because I don't know if I can live with the world after that. But this fella, he said, it gives you great pleasure to sit there and watch vehicles pull into the side as our siren is blasted and we move through.
Okay, right.
And that gives him, that boosts his ego.
Alright, so far, okay, let's go back. Now, what I want to get, the consensus I want to get from both of you, what are the consequences? What is so wrong? What if we accept this lifestyle into mainstream society? What is so wrong? What will happen to our society? What harm could it do to our society in the Caribbean here? If we say, look, if a person wants to have same-sex union, we should allow them to get married, we should allow them to adopt children, we should give them all the legal rights of a heterosexual couple, and all this kind of thing. What harm would it do to our society? What could be the implications of that, if any? If we do that, shouldn't we see ourselves as being embracive of all situations, all people and people with different views and lifestyles? Shouldn't we look at it that way, that we are now come a long way and we are developed and we are now embracive of all people with different views to us, and we are being a tolerant society of all? To not accept it, do you know you could be looked at as a society that is intolerant to people who have different views to you?
You want to take it, Larry?
I mean, it is true what you're saying. You're so correct. I mean, but as you rightly said a while ago, I mean, of accepting such sort of situation in society, I don't think it will really do good for the society to accepting legalizing gay marriage and whatnot. Because first and foremost, I mean, well, when we look at North America and probably some of those countries that are really condoning the same sex and all those sort of things. I mean, look at this.
No, let me stop you. Not condoning, but accepted. Accept something doesn't mean you condone it.
Well, I will accept such same sex and whatever. But I'm looking at it, for instance, in a small society like ours. I mean, I just really don't think, this is my personal view, I will say again, I just don't really think this would really work in our society. I just don't really believe that.
Yeah.